Hey guys, Tightrope here, and today we're taking a look at the 1.9.0 patch for Company of Heroes 3, codenamed Orchid Spider. In this particular video, we're covering the quality of life changes, new features added, and the 2 new maps. In the main menu on the top right hand side, you'll notice there's a new button here for the in-game leaderboards. Clicking on it brings you onto them, and yeah, here you can see the rankings of people. You can filter this by region, faction, rank. You can also manually search for players, so that is nice to have. And yeah, if you're ranked in that mode that you have selected, or have your ranking down the bottom here, so that's pretty handy as well. And of course you can manually scroll through the ranks down the bottom here if that's what you wanted to do. You could also, go to somebody's profile from here if you wanted to like watch one of their replays, so you don't have to know their exact name. You can just go to leaderboards. This guy's top 10, let's see what he does. Click on their profile, click on their match history, and then watch a replay straight away from here. So it makes it very, very easy to go to a top player's profile and watch a replay, see what they do, try copy their strats. I will say that the codeb.com system still maybe is superior, the match explorer on codeb.com, because then you can see the length of the replay, see the ranks of the other participants very easily without having to go into a bunch of submenus and stuff. So yeah, maybe a little bit more convenient, but overall, very nice to have the in-game leaderboards. Now we are in a replay because Relic have added a new function here called Tournament Mode. So you access it by clicking here. First time takes you to the default caster mode, which, I had a whole feedback video about this. Not very good for watching replays. Covered up the top of the screen so you couldn't see projectiles coming down. In a bad spot. Didn't have enough information for how much space it took up on the screen. So yeah, there's still an option if you want to use it, but obviously it's a suboptimal option. So you can click one more time here and it'll take you to tournament mode. So you might notice the mini-map shrunk in size by a little bit, and now we've got 4 players down the bottom here. So that's pretty cool. Offers you to see a lot more info straight away. Also, you can see like 4 players up the top here. Initially, their GUC, as they call it, the global unit controls, are hidden, but you can click on them and it will show permanently. So if you wanted to have like one player on screen for a bit, so you could keep tabs on exactly what their unit composition is as the game progresses, so you can see what their build order is. That's pretty handy, but you can turn that on and off or just hover over them so you could briefly check what their build order is like. So that is a nice function. And then you can see down the bottom here, at the moment we've got 2 players from each team on each side. So we've got 2 axes here, 2 allies here. And you can see their buildings in progress are also like they pop up here. So you can see, when they've got stuff in construction. This only applies to buildings and like tech options. It doesn't at the moment show units when they're in production, which I think it would be nice to see as well. Like when a unit is produced, it pops up here, or while it's in production. So it kind of makes it easier to keep tabs on things. Like, sure, you can maybe keep tabs on it through the GUC, but most of the time these are going to be hidden, right? So it would be nice to have units up here, but, more functions, more refinement could come with time, so that's nice. Similar story down here, like if they've got something selected, you can't really like see the costs and stuff that easily from this function, but we'll take it one step at a time. They've also added some new functions, so you can come into settings and then go to controls, view and remap controls, replay and observer mode. And down here you can see there are now options to flip team sides and a few new hotkeys down here, so that's really nice. So if it's Alt-Shift-F, and you can see it flips them onto the other side, because sometimes when you watch replay, like the sides and the VPs don't align with like the spawns, and this was a big problem in Code 2 as well, which never got fixed. But now with Alt-Shift-F, you can manually switch sides, get them on the right sides that align with their spawns on the map. So that's really, really nice function that wasn't available in Code 2 and now is available in Code 3. So yeah, I really like that. And of course, you can view the live stats if you click this button. It would be nice if there was a hotkey for this as well, so you don't have to click the button, but maybe, watching this, they can add a few things. Now, doesn't stop there. There's more options here. You can click next panel down the bottom below the UI here, which would be also nice if there was a hotkey for this so I don't have to click it, because, you know, sometimes when you try to come down to like right on the edge of the screen, you can accidentally overstep with the mouse and scroll the camera away from the action. So this would be nice if there was a hotkey for this button as well. But yeah, one step at a time. Here you can see more options. You can see like upgrades coming online on this screen from this option. And then this one you can see unit stats. So whatever unit you click on most recently from that player will show up here. And you may notice there's like now a kill counter for every unit here. So you don't have to like hover over their veterancy bar to try and find out how many kills they have. You can just directly see it here. So big improvements here overall to this kind of stuff. I will say, you know, compared to the Code 2 UI, I still do miss the ability of being able to like select a unit and quickly being able to see if it's got like an ability active, like if an AT grenade is like in progress and is about to pop out, stuff like that, or cooldowns on abilities. It's nice to be able to select a unit and quickly see that, which isn't really possible even with these like enhanced profiles at this stage. But you know, there's a lot of good here at least. So you can swap between these, and I think they're going to add some like customization so that you can fill around with these panels a bit further. And yeah, if you want to like switch between other players who are not showing here at the moment, you can do that. So you can show like all access, all allies. It would be kind of nice if there was a function to do that just with a hotkey as well. Show all access on one side, all allies down the bottom here, just at a press of a button rather than manually having to fiddle around with these menus. But yeah, massive improvements. Oh, and more, actually, there's more, which the unit would have to die for us to see it. But basically, when a unit dies, well, you may notice that previous to this, there'd be a bunch of alerts on the side, which probably if you saw my replays, you wouldn't notice because I just turned them off, because it's just a bunch of like kind of unimportant stuff over here, constantly pinging up, taking up screen real estate, only applying like, only showing stuff from one player, so it's kind of not very valuable. But now, oh, we hopefully might get to see it here. If a unit dies, it'll show up here. Kind of similar to the mod that Yana252 made for Code 2. So it'll make it easier to keep track of the action. Oh, I'm not going to die. So you'll be able to click on it, go to where the death is, and it'll show like, it doesn't have a unit has died kind of indicator on screen, but certainly makes it easier to keep tabs on units that are dying. Here we go. And there it is. So you can click on that. Okay, Pi died here, dropped the flamer. 250 died up here. So yeah, it makes it easier to keep tabs of the action. Still not quite as good as the mod that Yana252 made, but still massive steps forwards. This is such a big deal. This tournament mode overlay is yeah, a real godsend. Makes watching replays so much better now. Also related to game observing, if we come into the multiplayer menu, down the bottom here, there is a new option called Observer Mode. Clicking on it, you can come to a game list of a bunch of games that are happening right now that you can watch. Technically not fully live because there is a default delay of 3 minutes, but yeah, you can come in here, watch a game that's happening almost live as it's unfolding. You can see like how many viewers it has, what map. You can click on it to see which players are involved in the game and stuff like that, how long it's been running. If it's password for like custom games, you can apply a password to stop people from being able to observe it. So yeah, really good function here. I'm extremely happy they've added this because it makes it so much easier for tournament organizing. You know, instead of having to try to do things that are like 3/4 an hour in the future and getting them to send you replays, potentially spoiling results and all sorts of shenanigans. You can run a tournament just about live with, you know, an appropriate amount of delay. And yeah, it just makes it so much more thrilling when you're in that kind of environment as both the viewer and the tournament organizer and the player, so you're not like sitting on your hands waiting for other things to happen. Tournaments are going to be so much more viable. In fact, I might even have to dust off the old TPI series and bring one out now that this mode has been unlocked. So yeah, this is like really, really cool. Live observing mode finally added to COH3, combined up with the tournament mode. These are just making, like, you know, running tournaments and watching replays so much better. And there's one more thing as well, not strictly related to this, but if you come to the settings camera, there's now an option here called set max zoom out as default zoom. So if you click this on, which I highly recommend you do at the start of the game, so if I double backspace, so I can't zoom out any further right now. I'm at max zoom by default. Double backspace always sets me back to maximum zoom. So yeah, that was a feature I asked for and they added it, which I'm very happy about finally. And so yeah, here is the observer mode. It's basically the same as replay mode, but there's one extra button here for jump to live. So you can just hit that button and it'll fast forward as fast as possible until you reach, you know, 3 minutes or so behind where the game is live. So yeah, wow, this is, I'm speechless. Now we are in-game covering a bunch of quality of life changes that were implemented in this patch. First off, when you select a unit, you can see the kill counter here. It's not just available in replay mode, it's available here. You can't see it too well at the moment because it's covered up by the cheat commands mod UI for changing health. But yeah, there's a kill counter under here, so you no longer have to select the unit and hover over here to see the kill counter. Or you see it here by default and then hover over it if you want a more detailed breakdown on what exactly was killed. So that's really nice. If you come over to here on the veterancy, now there's like an exact description of what each star of veterancy gives you. So much more detail rather than like vague paragraphs promising you things. An exact breakdown of what each star gives you, which, you know, I used to do a mod for Code 2 to implement the same kind of feature, but it's really nice that it's now implemented directly in the game. Doesn't require any modding. Big ups to Relic for changing this. Makes it, I think, easier to learn the game when you know this kind of stuff. Come over here and get exact numbers. Another quality of life change that loads of people have been asking for is the ability to rebuild your headquarters. So I'm going to kill it here. And you can see there is now this red repair symbol over the top of it. Also, on the right-hand side with all the battle group options, there's an option here for calling in a worker unit. So, yeah, it's just like a normal section. It's not some special auto-repair squad that comes out of your headquarters and does it for you. It's just a normal squad in case all your squads are dead, and now you can repair it up. So it mentions here this ability will go away when the headquarters is repaired up to 50%, and I believe the headquarters counts as a building again once it's up to 50%. Maybe we can... Yeah, I think, is that it there now? At 50%, this increases health by 10% each time. It counts as a building again, and you can go back to doing whatever you were doing prior. So, yeah. A lot of people have been asking this function, and certainly, you know, there were some kind of cheesy strategies around destroying the headquarters, and then players weren't able to continue construction, continue down their tech tree, stuff like that. Really limited them to like battle group units only. Yeah, which is now being kind of removed as an option. But I do think that's kind of too free. Being able to just do this for a bit of, you know, repair time on your worker units, get this back to full strength without having to rebuild it. I think it's too easy. I do like Annihilation being a viable win condition in Company of Heroes, and, you know, with all the other structures you have to pay resources to rebuild them. So I think it should be the same on the headquarters, maybe like 200 manpower or something like that. Not just the cost of making a worker, an actual cost of bringing it back to normal. Also important to note that if your headquarters dies, your training center or armory doesn't die, so they'll still be sitting over there. Another very important feature added in this patch, team killing base buildings is no longer possible. So I'm going to go to work here with everything. You can see I'm not scratching this headquarters whatsoever with all of this. So yeah, just limiting the amount of options your bad teammates have of griefing you. You won't be able to kill, you know, headquarters or normal structures. I think they will still be able to kill like on-field bunkers or something like that, but whatever. You know, this is a big step forwards, reducing the amount of griefing possible. Of course, you still should report people. You can come to the player list and report them from there, I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly. I play 1v1, it's not too applicable to me. And they can still, like, you know, do some damage to your units on field, but you're not being able to kill off your base buildings. That is really, really big, reducing the amount of griefing possible in the game. Big thumbs up to that change. Having a look at the sector layout of the new 4v4 map, Rapido River Crossing. Starting out with the munitions points. Close to each team's base, we've got 4 low munitions points on each side. And then we've got 4 medium munitions close to the middle of the map. So that gives a total of 80 munitions per minute possible on the map, which is on the low side. I think some maps have gone as high as 100. So this is on the bottom end of munitions per minute available on a map. So a little bit low on munis, but pretty safe having, you know, 4 low points right next to your base. Having a look at fuel, we've only got 1 low fuel close to the base for each team. And then we've got 3 low fuels over here, 1 low fuel in the middle, and 1 medium fuel out here on the left side. So again, 40 fuel per minute on this map, which is on the bottom end. Some maps have up to 50, and you're all quite close to the middle of the map, most of it. So I can imagine this being quite a low fuel map overall, because there are also 8 strategic points on this map, which act as cutoffs. So I could imagine a lot of these middle points getting decapped and cut off quite a lot, leading to this being quite a low resource map overall in terms of fuel and munitions, but quite high in terms of manpower because of all these strategic points, and will give, you know, British like air and sea players a lot of options for putting up their mid tents because of all of these strategic points. Now having a look around the Rapido River Crossing map. First off, sharing healing. Is it possible? Here you can see a mid tent between the 2 bases. Kind of doesn't quite serve both of them if squads have retreated to these ends. So just about, you have to do a little bit of micro if you want to share healing on this map. You can see there's a bit more space between these 2 bases here. It's the same case over here as well. So you're kind of paired up with your teammates here. So that's how you have to share healing if you want to. But, you know, it's on the edge of viability. Now having a look around the map itself, you can see this is the main feature of this map. This huge ruined aqueduct running partially through the middle of the map. It's one of the map's big features. And we're on the 2 stages of zoom out here. So if you're at normal zoom, covers a huge proportion of your visual area, but it seems like the designers have tried to avoid this being present in areas of the map where there's going to be a lot of combat, like close to the center, closer to the roads, stuff like that. So maybe, you know, obstructing a bit of map view, but they've tried to reduce the impact of that. And, you know, it's nice to have some visual features like that. So yeah, we've got a bit of a hilltop coming on from that side. A few more ruins out here. Opens up into a reasonably open area. Got some trees blocking sight, but quite open for fighting through here. And then coming down, we've obviously got the river through the center. Got a lot of heavy cover available on both sides at the start of the match. So loads of heavy cover through the center of this map. Could make it quite hard to cross the river in the early stages. Make it maybe quite good for long-range squads like Tommies to just sit behind the heavy cover, or machine guns, because there's no cover through the center of the map. Though, of course, you can construct your own cover in water these days, so not as punishing as it used to be. But you have to, in the early stages, hug the cover, maybe look for more long-range units like snipers, mortars, and machine guns. Going back through here, similar on the other side, very open through here. Close to the other base. Not many buildings on this map. A few over here. I didn't talk about it, but the VP layout, got 2 VPs here and then 1 over here. And it's kind of interesting with the split of resources as well on this map. You can see that on this side, you know, you've got these low fuels and the 2 VPs on this side, but on the other side, you've got 3 medium resource points close to the other VP. So if you want to hold this side of the map, you're going to get high resources. This side of the map, you're going to get high VPs. So it's an interesting play pattern. Definitely trying out quite a few different things on this map, which is welcome. Always nice to have some variety in how you want to attack and tackle maps, and how to adapt your playstyles as well, depending on the resource and sector layouts. So you've got a big road through both sides. Could make rotating from end to end for your vehicles quite fast. A few buildings, bit of a high point up here. A big ruined bridge down here. So yeah, a lot of elevation through these zones. I could imagine the elevation bonus kicking in, because they're quite steep in some of these areas. So watch out for those high ground advantages. Could be taking some bonus accuracy if you're getting shot at from above. And this is like the biggest city style area on the map, but it's quite close to the base. Not really that relevant in terms of people using it for fights, I imagine, in most games. So yeah, let's look at the new 4v4 map, Rapido River Crossing. Examining the sector layout of the new 2v2 map, Santuario. Starting out with munitions, we've got 3 mini munitions along this side on the top of the map. Then close to the base, we've got a low munitions on each side. Then 1 medium munitions right in the middle of the map. Then down the bottom, 2 low, 2 mediums over here. So it leads to a total of 6 medium, 4 low, for 80 munitions per minute. So again, on the bottom end of the map pool for munitions per minute. Switching over to fuel, we've got these medium fuels tucked away in the corner here. You can just run straight there, start capping that, and have that guaranteed for most of the game, because it's quite hard to harass or cut off or anything. So got a nice guaranteed medium fuel right next to the base. Then on the rest of the map, we've got a low fuel on each side, pretty close to the base again, going to be reasonably hard to harass these. And then on the edge, low fuels over here as well. So that's 2 medium, 4 lows for a total of 40 fuel per minute. Again, on the low end of things, but with these medium fuels, guaranteed for pretty much the entire match, I imagine. You've got that safe hold like that. So I think it's less important when it comes to fuel. Then when it comes to cutoffs, we've got 4 strategic points. Definitely cutting off, opening up some cutoff options for, these munitions points or these resource points out on the end. But if you say wanted to do a big harassing play coming down this side of the map, trying to connect your enemy's medium fuel, good luck. You have to control their cutoff as well. That will be a real mission. So yeah, you're not really going to be able to harass these medium fuels. Now having a look around the map Santuario, starting out on the bases, you can see the headquarters are right next to each other on both spawns. Going to make it super easy to share healing, and they're so close together you can even share DAC healing. That's how close they are together. I don't think any other map has the bases so close, but there's still plenty of space to put all your structures. So you don't have to worry about too much overcrowding. Still got plenty of room to put all of your buildings. So coming out from this side over to here, nice little kind of vineyard area, quite a lot of roads around. Then coming closer, got quite a few obstacles through here, river through the middle. One thing that I think will take a bit of learning, you can see there's quite a few rocks on this map, but it's not immediately obvious which rocks give you heavy cover or light cover or in which direction. So I think that's something that's maybe going to take a little bit of getting familiar with, what rocks can use where along that river. So something to keep an eye out for, make sure you learn. And coming closer to the middle of the map, got a uni point over here, quite open through this whole area. Plenty of space for machine guns and tank destroyers, AT guns to function. And coming closer to the center of the map, there are quite a few buildings that maybe look like you could garrison them, but they've got boarded up windows, so that's a tell that you can't get inside, which is not always super obvious. Some of them still have a health bar above them. These ones don't, but these ones do. But you can't get inside these. Similar story on this church here. It looks like maybe you could get inside, but the windows are boarded up and you can't get in here. So yeah, something to be aware of and something you'll need to get familiar with on this map. Take quite a lot of learning. There's a few buildings that have maybe like blind spots in certain directions, like this one here. So quite a lot of learning to do with the garrisons, I think, on the center point of this map. So yeah, we've got the town area through the middle. A few site blockers, heavy cover options, lots of roads. Should be fast for your light vehicles to like zip around through here. But yeah, also quite a lot of garrisons. Could lead to some slower fights. Maybe you need your mortars and your flamers. Going back across on this side of the map now. Getting quite open. Then we've got this very picturesque waterfront section. And you can like come out down this side, run through the water with your squads, and do like flanks. So that could be kind of like a cool thing to see. Got some, site blockers on the side, so you maybe could sneak around the side, catch your opponent unawares. So hope to see that in a shoutcast do on this map. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, overall I will say that there's very, very little elevation on this map. There's some small undulations, but apart from like upper story windows shooting at units on the ground, it's going to be very, like almost no areas on this map where you're going to get the elevation bonus over the enemy. So it's worth mentioning, I thought. But yeah, there are a few areas that do have quite a lot of movement restrictions, general blockers that won't get opened up too much, as the map progresses and heavy crush comes online. So, it's an interesting play style. Will make it harder for like team weapons to move around, even in the late game. So yeah, very well filled in, very pretty map to look at. And yeah, should lead to some pretty interesting matches as well, I think. Now we're on the 1v1 map Pachino Stalemate. And there's been a rework to the sector layout and the cover through this area of the map here. It used to be up here, now the strategic point is back here in the water. So bringing it closer to the base, easier to cap for this player, harder maybe for the opposing player. On top of that, they removed a whole bunch of heavy cover walls that were all along here, giving fewer cover options. Maybe if you want to wire things off, it'll be much easier as the player from the right-hand spawn. Deny your opponent cover options, thanks to that. And you've got your own cover over here, heavy cover here if you're looking to fight and push onto this point yourself. So yeah, big changes over here. And on top of that, the muni point has also been moved. It used to be about here. It's been moved closer to the base on this side as well. So playing from this point on Pachino Stalemate should be quite a lot easier after this change. I'm guessing they timed like how long it takes to run from the base to get to these sectors and tried to balance things out a bit on this map. And yeah, there have been a lot of other changes to other maps, minor tweaks here and there, but I thought this one was worth covering. Also mentioned in the notes is that bridges should be more satisfying when they are collapsing. So here we are on day 101. We've got 2 bridges here. Let's try out this thin bridge first. We're going to kill it. And one of those pieces got absolutely launched over there. Wow. Went flying. Are those jets of like water coming up? Are they new? I'm not too familiar with how bridges look when collapsed before this. I can't really remember too vividly, so don't have a before and after on this, unfortunately. Let's try the thick bridge now. So yeah, are they new? Those new jets? I'm not entirely sure. And I feel like maybe the walls, these kind of walls that used to go along here, maybe stayed beforehand, but now they kind of disappear once the bridge is killed. So let's look at the bridge changes. Unfortunately, the VFX changes that were supposed to be included in this patch got pushed back to the February patch. So I do a bunch of recordings of explosions and stuff like that, ready to do a before and after comparison in this video, but it's going to get pushed back to February, so keep an eye out for that. But what we did get in this patch was very, very good. We got the new observer mode called tournament mode, which is so much better than what we had before, giving you more information in a smaller amount of space, makes viewing replays and live games so much better. Tournament mode, big thumbs up. I want to say that I'm really grateful to Relic for continuing to work on that kind of stuff, because it doesn't just affect me as a content creator, it affects all of you who choose to observe. It's so much better than what we had before, and I won't have to use that Q mode mod thing anymore. can use the tournament mode because it is really good. And besides that, you know, we've got the in-game leaderboards, less potential to grief, the in-game veterancy descriptions, a lot of really good stuff in this. Just a shame we didn't get those VSV changes. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below about the 1.9 patch. A huge thank you to all of my Patreon backers, and if you enjoy my content, I hope you consider coming on board.